write something up here with adding and subtracting fractions, I want you to write everything that I have written down in your book, okay? And I'm going to add some things that are not there. Anybody else need copies of the pages because you don't have your book? Okay. So it says, in 8 times at bat, Max hit 2 doubles, 5 singles, and struck out 1 time. Find the fraction of the times that Max hit either a single or double. You're going to get times where you have story problems and you need to know where it talks about either. If I put a box around it, you better be putting a box around it. If I have either one, that means you're doing both, the single or a double. He went up to bat 8 times. So that's important, because that would be our total number of times that he went up to bat, correct?
Yes.
So I want to know a single. He hit 5 singles, so that would have been 5 out of how many hits?
2.
8.
Oh,
8 times at bat. How many doubles?
2 out of 8.
So that would be 2 out of 8. To figure out the fraction of either single or double, that's the single plus the double. If you have the common denominator, you just keep it 8, and it's 5 plus 2, which is 7. So you just have your final answer of 7/8, right? Okay, not too terribly tough right now, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into looking at the number line. What's different about this number line than what we normally do?
Going down and down.
It's vertical, right, instead of going across, but that should not make a difference. Since there were 8 times at bat, create a vertical line that is divided into 8s. So they start at 0 and go to 1, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, correct? So I want you to number label those each tick mark. So this would be 1, 8, 2, 8s, 3, 8s, 4, 8s. Just keep labeling them. So then it's saying graph the fraction of doubles, which is 2 8s on the number line. So I just start at 0 and I draw my first line arrow up to the 2 8s and I stop. Then it says from the 2 8s point count 5 8s more. So you're counting 5 more spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's 5 8s. And they have the dotted line, but then I want you to put a box around the answer, which would be 7 8s. On the number line. So then I have 2 8s plus 5 8s is, we already figured that one out, right? Max got a hit 7 8s of the times he was at bat. Not bad. So far, so good, right?
Yes.
This isn't anything new. So turn the page and let's look at the next page. So now we have a horizontal that we're kind of more used to. We have 3 6 minus 4 6. I bet you guys could just tell me the answer right now.
-1 6.
Okay, but how do we know that it's a -1/6 besides looking at what they have? I'm going to show you. Well, let's first do it by the graph. It says to divide the line into 6, since we do not know if our answer is negative or positive, include fractions to the left and to the right. They already labeled it for us, right?
Yep.
You start always at 0, and you go up to our first fraction, which is 3 6. They did that. Then it's subtraction. So when you subtract, do you go to the right or to the left? Left, and we go back how many spaces?
4.
4. And then that's where you ended up at as the -1/6. Correct? Okay, so we'll just put our answer here as a negative 1, 6. Always put your negative sign in with the numerator, don't put it with the denominator. Find some space though. And I'm gonna put it right next to this set of fractions. If I know, or actually I'm gonna put it right down here, because I think that might be where you guys have more room. So if I have 3 6 minus 4 6, okay, I'm gonna forget that the denominator is there. You should be writing this down. And I have 3 minus 4. This is just like subtracting integers. Then you're gonna write keep, change subtraction to addition, change that positive to a negative. Then can I do a 3 plus a negative 4? Yeah, because you just, if we're adding and they're, one's positive and one's negative, you just subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Once I've done that with my numerators, I'm going to now attach my denominator. All because they have the same denominator. Make sure you have written this off to the side. So let's look at this activity. We have a negative 4 sevenths minus 2 sevenths. Let's do it before we even look at the number line. Forget that I have denominators. I'm going to write negative 4 minus 2. We're going to follow the rules of subtracting integers. And we're going to do what? Keep. Then do what? Change the subtraction to a positive. Change the positive to a negative. Now I'm just adding two negatives. So it would be negative 6. Let's do it on the number line. We start at 0, always. Here's my 0. And if it's a negative 4, we go down. So we're going to say a negative 4 sevenths. Then I need to subtract. And when you're subtracting, you are going... No, you're still going down when you subtract. It's the same as going down is the same as going left. And I'm going to go down 2 sevenths. And I'm going to circle my answer, or put a box around my answer. So negative 4 sevenths minus 2 sevenths is a negative 6 sevenths. But I'm also showing it here with just looking at the numerators. All right, let's take a look at the next page. 1/5 plus 2/5. What is the answer?
3/5.
Okay, you know the answer, right?
Yep.
But we still need to be able to write it on the number line because you have to be able to read it on a number line. Where do we, what do we need to label each tick mark?
A fifth.
By a fifth, so label it. This would be 1/5, so keep labeling. 3/5, 4/5. To the left of the 0 are what numbers?
Negative.
So negative 1/5, negative 2/5. When I got to 5/5, what is that also? A 1. So this would be like 1, and this would be 1 and 1/5. 1 and 2/5. 1 and, write both of those fractions while you label your number line. Now to show it, we start at 0 and I go up to just 1/5. Then I'm adding, so I start right on top of the 1/5 and I'm adding 2/5, so I go up 2 paces. 1, 2. Dot your line down, put a box around your answer. So we have a negative 3/7 plus a negative 1/7. What is this split up into? Into what? 7. So let's get labeling. 1/7, 2/7. Make sure you label every single tick mark. Where do I begin? 0, and I'm going to go left or right? Left to the negative 3/7. So I start here, negative 3/7. Then I'm going to start at the negative 3/7, and I'm adding a negative 1. So which way do I go?
Left.
Still left again, but only 1. Dot your line, box your answer. Now let's go back to where we were talking about thinking that the denominators aren't there, and it's just a regular integer. A negative 3 plus a negative 1. What's a negative